Hallelujah. Oh, glory. Hallelujah. Amen. You're on the move with JoAnna Ward, yours truly. And I have someone visiting me today that keeps Atlanta on the move. How about that? Atlanta Hartsfield Airport. Have you ever been there? It is fabulous. And so is my next guest. I would like to introduce to you someone who is just sensational. I know people don't like to be bragged on, but I mean, when you have it going on, it is what it is. I would like to introduce you all to Kofi Smith. Kofi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, I just got to talk about your outfit. There's no way that you could just sit here and be dressed like this and me not say anything about it.
Thank you.
You are just zipped up all the way around. I mean, some people are zipped up on the outside, but you start talking to them, and there's not a whole lot going on. Yeah. But there's a soul behind your suit.
Thank you so much.
So tell our viewers who you are, because that's who I'm interested in talking to. You have all kinds of degrees. Can you run down your degrees list and your accolade list like in 2 seconds for us without stumbling over some of the letters behind your name?
2 seconds. So I have my bachelor's in industrial and systems engineering from Georgia Tech. I have my master's in global business from Georgia Tech. I'm currently pursuing my doctorate in business from Georgia State, and as soon as I finish that in 2018, I'm headed to Emory for my master's in law.
So you're a lifelong learner.
I love learning.
You love learning.
I love learning.
You love, period. Like, you love people.
I am a lover of people, and I think that's one of the reasons why God has blessed me. I always tell people I'm not the most articulate, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the most handsome, I'm not the most anything. I just love people. And that's one of the reasons why I think I've been so successful, because I try to pour everything I have into people, and then it just reciprocates. Those people just take care of you when you take care of them.
Right. And so those people, how many people do you actually manage, oversee? Tell us about where you are, and then I'll tell people about where you've been.
All right. So right now I'm at the Atlanta Airlines Terminal Corporation. We manage all of the building operations and facilities for Hartsfield-Jackson, which is the world's most traveled.
Hartsfield-Jackson, like the one that I just kind of roll in and out of?
Yeah,
because I'm always on the move, so, that's the best way to move, you ask me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it is the most traveled airport. 100 million people we moved last year. So the organization I'm blessed to lead, we manage all of the facilities and operations for that building. And I'm blessed to lead about 83 people, a complement of 83 people. We grew the company about 88%. When I first joined, I was the 44th person there. So it's an incredible group of people, absolutely. I have obligations to a board of directors, but I always tell people, if I can take care of those that work with me and those that God has placed up under my leadership, the shareholders will be taken care of, the passengers will be taken care of, everything will be taken care of as long as they're taken care of.
So you're responsible for an airport that has 1 million passengers a year, at least. I think some people sneak through the cracks.
That's right.
But and you manage people who help you do that.
Absolutely.
And you have a board, and you have these degrees, and that's actually not why I invited you on my show. I invited you on my show because you have a soul, and you have a lot of heart, and you have a lot of passion behind who you are. And the story is not as easy as it sounds. And it doesn't seem like it was your original design for yourself. Like, you weren't like, oh, yeah, one day I'm going to, be a CEO, a big-time CEO, president of a major company that capacitates 1 million passengers at airport. Tell me about where your story started. Tell me how you got to Georgia Tech.
So I'm just a little country boy from Alabama, right? And I played football when I was in high school. I ran track, played basketball, and played basketball. Basketball, track, and football when I was in high school. Played baseball earlier in my years, but football seemed to be the sport that I really took to. And I excelled. God had his hand on me back then, and I thought I was going to go to colleges all over the world, that everybody was going to be calling me. And when everyone else was getting offer letters, I was getting rejection letters. And I'll never forget, I got a rejection letter from ULC. I don't hold anything bad against them, because that was the first time I realized the power in prayer. Because when I received that rejection letter, I went to my mom and said, Mom, I'm not going to be able to go to college. I keep getting these rejection letters. And everybody else is getting acceptance letters and invitations to come and visit the schools. So my mom said, don't worry, we're going to pray for a week. And she said, I promise you things will change. And that was the first time I realized the power of prayer. My mom and I prayed every day for a week. And At the end of that week, true story, I had 11 offers to come in from Southern Miss, Florida State, Alabama, Auburn, just all over. And then that's when I realized the power of prayer. And from that moment, I never stopped praying, and I never stopped believing in the power of prayer. That's what got me to Georgia Tech. And there's a little sidebar. So I went to Vanderbilt because I wanted to be a doctor. They wanted me to come and play quarterback for them. I visited with Vanderbilt. They signed my tight end, Eric Wisman, my boy. And then I told them, just give me one more day. Give me one more day. It was the best decision I ever made in my young adult life because Georgia Tech called me on that Monday. Said, we want to bring you up. We just got your tape. We don't know how we missed it. I called Vandy, said I need one more official visit. I'm going to go to Atlanta. And then I went to Atlanta, and not to sound shallow, but it was the first time this little country boy from Alabama had seen so many incredible, gorgeous women, all shapes, sizes, color, everything. I was like, where am I? It blew my mind.
Right.
So unfortunately, not unfortunately, it was fortunate, but I made a decision to say I'm coming to Atlanta. And that ended up being one of the best decisions that I made. Instead of being a doctor that I had planned to be, I ended up coming to Georgia Tech and going through their industrial engineering program, which was the #1 in the world then, and it's the #1 in the world now. So everything worked out well. I met my wife at Georgia Tech, and that experience at Tech just was amazing for me.
So you went from having no offers.
Zero.
Like goose egg. That's a goose egg.
Zero in rejection letters.
And no thank you letters.
That's right.
To having 11.
11.
So when it says that when prayers go up, the blessings come down,
Absolutely.
you only needed one.
That's it.
And you're hit with 11.
That's right.
And hopefully some of those were never on your radar or interested in, but you had already confidently made a decision. So then even though you prayed and all these answers came, right? And this is the part of prayer that people miss. The answers came, and then there was one that looked like a good idea, but the God idea was Georgia Tech.
That's right.
You see?
Absolutely.
So that's the part that I was very interested in, is that even though I prayed and now everything seems to be going my way and now I have these choices and I've made one, and that's what we also do, like, oh, this must be it. This is the good idea. But the God idea, obviously, was Georgia Tech, because that's how I made your acquaintance.
Yes, ma'am.
And your story's I've been fascinated by it. My sister had the same situation where she wanted to go to Georgetown. They did not, the counselor told her she couldn't go because Amy Craddock's father, whoever that is, was a lawyer. And my mother said, "Hey, do you want to go to Georgetown?" And they prayed about it. And of course, my sister's gone to Georgetown and graduated. And I said, I've never heard anyone else say that they prayed kind of like that about their college. And I just thought that was a fascinating part of your story, because without that intervention, your story could be totally different, which means you would be. And the man that's sitting before me now is the greatest part of your story. There's so many things that go on to accentuate the cake, but the core of who you are, the type of cake that you are, I'm very, very impressed with, because you are a deep man, and most people in your position don't have a lot of compassion, love, sympathy, empathy, or discernment at all. They just kind of have become their titles. They become the job. They're not just doing anything. It becomes who they are. And you seem to still know who you are while you do really, really well at what you do.
Thank you. But, I give all the credit to my mom and my dad. Even at that time when my mom came to me and said, we're going to pray, right? What I think people should learn and know and just hold on to about the God we serve is that it doesn't take a lot of faith. He says only the faith of a mustard seed. And at that moment, I was a high school kid into football. I wasn't really into praying, right? My mom is a pastor, but I wasn't really into praying.
Right.
But when my mom said, we're going to pray, I had a little faith. She had a lot of faith, right? And it only took that little faith of mine with the intercession of her stepping in that opened up that door for me. And you're exactly right. I could have been at Vanderbilt, Florida State, Alabama, Auburn. All my friends went to all those places. I was kind of the lone wolf who decided to come to Atlanta. But again, that's where my story really began. All my trials, tribulations, everything that has made me who I am today, a lot of that took place in those 5 years at Georgia Tech.
Now, I have to confess something to you. You probably don't know, because this is your first time officially meeting me.
Yes.
That Sunday that I heard you speak, you talked about what was most important. And I already knew, because my high school coach, I played basketball for South Carolina State, and he would always say, if you fail to plan, you plan to prepare. If you don't plan, you prepare to plan, or however his little saying
right,
goes.
yeah.
But you asked the question, which is better, to be prepared or have a plan?
That's right.
Oh, I know what he said. He said, if success comes and you're not prepared, no. Preparation plus opportunity equals success.
That's right,
it.
yeah.
Preparation plus opportunity equals success, because if you're prepared and don't have the opportunity, you still can't be successful. And if the opportunity comes and you don't have preparation, and you talked about being prepared.
Yeah. Yes.
We can have a plan, and I'm a trainer, right? I preached a whole week after hearing you say that, because I agree with it so much. I can give people an eating plan. I can give them an exercise plan, and they will not follow it.
Yes.
Because it's more than the plan that's
Absolutely.
necessarily preparation. Tell us a little bit about that.
So one of the things I learned is that planning is great. Planning is great, but God laughs at our plans and God changes our plans, right? So if you're only focused on your plan, then you start putting everything into that direction. But what if God has something different for you? Right? What if he calls an audible and you got to change a play? Well, if you're not prepared for that audible, then everything kind of comes undone. So one of the things I like to teach my mentees is that instead of being holistically concerned with a myopic view on planning, be more concerned about preparation. Now, you can have both, and it's fine. You can have the power of the and. It doesn't have to be an or.
Right.
But make sure that you're focused on the preparation. The reason why I am in this job today is that I went back to get my MBA. The reason why I went back to get my MBA is I had two people pour into me. One person said, listen, you really need to get additional education if you're going to change the game. I said, okay, fine. What does that look like? He said, well, you need to get an MBA. I said, okay, well, what is that going to do for me? Well, it's going to teach you the power of, it's going to teach you the ability to speak the language of money. I said, okay, great, on an executive level. So I need to get the MBA. Then I sat down with one of my mentors when I found out how much it was going to cost. I said, I can't do it. It's too much money. She said, why are you worried about the money? I said, I've never had to pay student loans before. She said, you need to go get your MBA so you'll see in yourself what we all see in you. The most powerful statement that was ever spoken to me. So I went to go get my MBA. Little did I know, I had no plan. It wasn't like I was planning on becoming a CEO or a president. I went so I could further educate myself and understand how to speak the language of money. By me getting that MBA 7 months after I had finished that MBA, I got this opportunity to come over. And in order for me to come over into this job, into the position at the time, which was a deputy position or a vice president position, you had to have an MBA. So had I not went back to school and got that MBA, I would not have been prepared for that opportunity that came. The opportunity which I knew nothing about.
Nothing about.
I didn't even know it existed. I didn't even know the company existed. My resume was not out there. That's one of the things where God kind of brings it to you. When we talk about the favor of God or that gracious hand that he places on your life, I wasn't searching, but he brought the opportunity to me.
And you were fully prepared for it.
And I was prepared for it.
It's almost like the suit that you have. I'm sure it wasn't made yesterday for this show.
Although I was trying to get one made for the show, but you had me come too quick. I wanted a new one.
But you're still prepared, because this is a very nice suit.
Thank you so much.
I just have to talk about your level of preparation. I mean, it's all the way from if the range is 1 to 100, then you have it zipped up to 0, all the way to 101.
Thank you so much.
I love the preparation, because we miss the palace when we're in the pasture. And what I mean by that is we're so busy trying to get where we think we should be that we don't get developed to be ready to be there. You know, and in that preparation state is so, so important. Like you say, the plan is awesome, it's wonderful, but, you know, as a former classroom teacher, I had a lesson plan for a day, for the week, for the month, for the whole semester, and it always had to be modified and adjusted. And me being prepared, I'm able to do that. I think that's huge for people, because they always omit or underestimate the power of now and the position of now and what it matters to where it is that we're going. All that development, all that football time that you put in, all that discipline, all that being coachable, being a listener, learning to love. And I'm not talking about a romantic type love. People really, really, really don't know agape love and what that really means, and how Jesus is telling us to love the Lord God with all of our hearts and all of our minds and all of our souls, so we can learn how to love ourselves and then our neighbors as ourselves. But we've so missed it with so many different things that's propagated out here in the world, and this told through media, and just things that we've encountered, and they're not really valid.
That's right.
But when you can lead in love like you do, you just love your people because they're your sheep.
Yeah.
Like you told me about David. We're going to have a break in about 60 seconds, but give me your 30-second spiel on love, because I know you always have it. You're always prepared. Go ahead and give me your 30-second spiel on love.
So, I think love is, when you talk about agape love, is just really understanding. My son taught me what real love was. When he came into the world, I looked at that little boy. I'll never forget, he was in my master bedroom. I looked at him. I said, I cannot love this little dude anymore. I don't have the ability, the capacity to love him anymore. And God spoke to me in that moment and said, the same way you love your son, I love you times a gazillion.
A gazillion. Hey, so you heard it. He was prepared. 30-second spiel on love from Kofi Smith. We're going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. You're on the move with JoAnna Ward and Kofi Smith. Welcome back. I hope you heard what Kofi Smith had to say about love in 30 seconds. You cannot even love your child more than God loves you. We're back with Kofi Smith, and he's going to continue to tell us what it's like to have on this type of suit and actually have an inside that's tighter than that. Welcome back, Kofi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let me ask you something. So when I come to the airport, do I just ask for you if I want a free ride? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't have that much power. I don't have that much influence.
You know how I went to a HBCU, you went to Georgia Tech,
Yeah.
and everybody got to hook up. And
That's right.
everything.
It's a hookup. It's a hookup all the time.
But so going back to your story, I just think it's such a powerful statement of purpose, because, like I said, we can get to a point of success. We work really, really hard, as we talked about that. People work really, really hard to get to a place. Have you ever noticed people who get to where it is that they think success is, and then they're unhappy, they're miserable, and you can just tell that there's no love there, like we were talking about before we went to break. There's no love there, and it's almost as if I'm not even happy that I made it to this place. Right. But you seem whole and complete, and I'm not saying you're not still working on some things or have some things, but I'm saying overall there's a contentment that goes along with your success.
Yeah, my pastor, Andy Stanley, is working on a message right now. He just started a series this past Sunday on how to get what you really want. And he started the series off talking about a lot of people don't even understand what it is they want, right? So when you think about that, and you think about passion, and you talk to people about what is your passion, and what is it that you want to do in life, and what is it that you really desire and want, people really don't know. I've been blessed that mine is really easy. What I want, and I'll tell you this, and where this came up really got crystallized, is I was fortunate to be a part of the Regional Leadership Institute. Best class ever for my people out there that's watching, 2016. But in that, we had a session on purpose, of talking about what your life purpose is, or what is your purpose. And mine came very, very easy to me. I kind of fine-tuned it a little bit, but my purpose has always been to take care of those that God brings into my life to help develop them and make them better. It's that easy. Right. So you can put me anywhere. You can put me here at the airport. You can put me at Home Depot, IBM, Coke, a small company. It doesn't matter. Wherever I go, those people that God allows to come into my life, all I want to do is use every talent that He's given me to help them be better, to help develop them. And if I know I can walk away from you and you're just a little bit better because of something I was able to pour inside, that's my purpose. Right. And now I got this little 4-year-old that I get to do it with every single day. Right. But I have my 22-year-old that I took the responsibility of when I was 18 that I try to do as best I can, right, as he's about to turn 23. But those are two that I know that every opportunity I have, I'm trying to feed into them. And, of course, I have my mentees that, for whatever reason, they want me to be their mentor, and I try to do the same with them, and then those that I lead.
Reason. That's awesome, because that's what it's all about.
That's it.
And there are leaders who lord, and there are leaders who love. And I don't mean love, like, again, in romantic, right, but it's that I see so much in you and so much more in you, and I believe that I can help you get there. And you do that, and that's amazing. You talked about having a point in time and a passion for football. Yeah. So much so that when you said, now that I'm where I am and my salary has increased, was it 75%?
Yeah, we'll say that.
About 75%, yeah, at the time that you got your MBA, because you were trying to tell us the value of it.
Yeah.
And you said, but if they call me
I'm
at
out.
40
I'm out. I'm
to
going.
suit up. And I love that because it just talks about how when you have a passion for something, it doesn't go away because you don't do it.
That's right.
You know, it's a true love.
Yeah.
And you have a true love for football. And so obviously, I was paying attention, right?
You were paying attention. You were paying attention.
So tell us about that time when you said everybody told you not to go after the passion of playing football.
Yeah, so this was a crazy time in my life when I started playing Arena 2 football. So when you play Arena 2 football, you get paid somewhere between $200 and $250, netting out the taxes, right? So if you win, you get $250. If you lose, you get paid $200, all right? So this was a time when a coach had taken notice of me, and he was in Arena 1. So I was going to try to jump to Arena 1. That team ended up folding. He went to Arena 2 in Norfolk, Virginia. He said, come play for me. Now, I was making pretty good money as an engineer and a senior project manager, a senior department head. This guy said, come play for me in Norfolk, which meant I had to quit my job. So I prayed a lot. I talked to my mom. I talked to my girlfriend at the time. I talked to my really close friend, who was also one of my teammates at Georgia Tech, and they said, you are crazy. Do not leave. You have upward trajectory. You're on a great path. You're doing well. You're making great money. Do not go chase this football dream for $200, right, a game, or $200 a week. And a coach of mine, he gave me this book, Who Moved My Cheese? And I read that book, and I knew that was God telling me, put my shoes around my neck. It's time to get out in that maze and go. So I resigned. I left despite everything that everyone told me, and I went and chased it. And the best thing about that story is when I left the company, president of that division, or actually the president of a separate division, called me and said, hey, we heard what you did. Talk to the CEO of the company. We're going to give you an 8-month leave of absence. And I never asked for one. And my mom and my best friend was telling me, ask for a leave of absence. I didn't have to because I trusted God to be my safety net. And then God came back and gave me an 8-month instead of a 6-month without me even asking.
So you attribute your grace of an 8-month sabbatical football to your faith.
Absolutely.
And God allowing you to honor the opportunity to. So then God is not this God that's sitting there saying, no, I don't want you to go chase your passion. I don't want you to do what you love and enjoy. He gave it to you as much as he could. And I always tell people, I say, God says, I'm not in there. I'll let you go so far, but that's not what I have for you. But because you love it,
That's right.
you like it, you enjoy it, and it's not hurting you, I'll let you. So he gave you that.
He did.
And you enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I think what he really did for me, where I thought I was chasing football, it was me actually chasing him and getting closer and closer to him, because he allowed me to go chase this football dream, which brought so many struggles, so many ups and downs, where I had to just fall on my face many times and just cry out to him. So I think it was his way of saying, I'm using this as a way for you to get closer and closer to me.
Awesome.
You think you're chasing football,
Right.
but you're really in pursuit of me. And during that time is when I got my closest, that intimate relationship with God,
Right.
not just knowing of God, but knowing God, knowing
Right.
who he is. It happened during that journey.
Awesome. So tracing your passion, you realize what your true passion really
Absolutely.
is, and who
Yeah.
your true creator and father really is. You know, having a father, but having a father of your father.
That's right.
Bringing you out against everybody else's wishes and wants for you, and just really training you. I call it training to trust God. And he's trained us to trust him. And so many people are stuck between religion and relationship. And it's a hard place to be, because religion actually dominates because it's more frequent. And very few people get that opportunity to go and have that experience of being pursued by God through their passion, and then knowing that you begin to pursue him as well. Because our faith is, at the end of the day, everything's staying here.
That's right.
Naked we came into this world, and naked we should return.
That's right.
Blessed be the name. And Job taught us that he had everything. I mean, very, very successful man. But his most important asset was his faith in God. And I don't know that we realize that now. And that's why I brought you on the Move with JoAnna. And I appreciate you so much. You guys, Kofi has he the man to me. I mean, it's my show. I can say he the man. And we're going to be right back with the man, because I want y'all to find out who y'all are too. We'll be right back. Well, hey, I already told you it is what it is, and this is the man, Kofi. Thank you so very much. You know I'm going to have you back. I'm going to have you back with your book because you got to share it with us.
It's coming.
Thank you so much for doing what you do. And more important, thank you for being truly who God called you to be. And you know what? God has called each of us to not just do, to demonstrate. He called us to be. When you turn a light on in your house, it just comes on because it already knows who it is and what it is that it's supposed to do. And so many of us are confused because we look out and we don't look in. We don't pursue our passion, and therefore we don't ever find our purpose because we keep thinking that it's always in something else, someone else. It got to be something out there for me. When in all actuality, what God has for you is already in you, and it's greater than anything you're going to confront. Any opposition, any forces that come against you, greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world or whatever it is that's opposing you. So pursue who you are. It's good enough. It doesn't have to be rich. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It just has to be you, and it just has to be filled with peace. And through peace, you'll find your purpose. I thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that something that Kofi said today inspires you and motivates you to be the best you ever. You're on the move with JoAnna Ward. I'll see you guys next time.